On this episode of DC On Screen, we officially have a new Supergirl. We have surprising news about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, and why Batman can't be in Superman Legacy. Also, we rank live-action Supergirls, update on the Elseworlds Black Superman film, and a whole lot more right after these words from our mystery sponsors. Welcome into DC On Screen, the podcast bringing you news and reviews for the DC multiverse on film and television. I'm your host, David C. Robertson, and this, my co-host, a small, timid beast, sitting on my right knee while shaking in Chihuahua, Jason Goss.
I really want to pitch shift my voice up for a lot of this. And just be like, it's comfy.
It's comfy. So, I want to jump right into news, because we've got kind of a lot. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
Sure.
The box office. Surprisingly, Aquaman 2 is the highest grossing DCEU movie since 2018.
When it was also Aquaman?
You know what? Here's the ranking. Here's how that plays out.
I like it.
Aquaman comes in at number 1 at $1.143 billion.
Okay.
The number 2 movie is BVS, which was $872.3 million. 3 is Wonder Woman at $817. Suicide Squad is number 4 at $745. Man of Steel is number 5 at $667.9 million. Justice League is number 6, insanely, at $655.9 million. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom comes just at number 7 at $412 million. Directly underneath is Black Adam at $390.3 million. And then we go, number 9 is Shazam, number 10 is The Flash, number 11 is Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, 12 is The Suicide Squad, 13 is Wonder Woman 1984, 14 Shazam Fury of the Gods, 15 Blue Beetle.
Parts of that feel right. There's a huge skew where like you almost have to separate the list on old times versus new times.
Mm-hmm. It does feel that way.
A lot of that doesn't completely surprise me. Like BVS being second, almost at the time it was released, feels like there's a chunk of that number that was just a bunch of people going back to watch it and going like, it was fun to watch, but did I hear all that shit right? And just going back to like catch the Martha scene or catch, Eisenberg's dialogue on the roof, which is, by the way better than anyone gives it credit for.
It is.
It's a mini philosophy lesson. It's gorgeous.
It is. I think Batman v Superman, the Ultimate Edition, of course, is still my favorite live-action superhero movie. Oh. Let me put that qualifier on it.
Yeah, could easily be as well. I mean, yeah, like theatrical was interesting. It is interesting that includes theatrical because that was odd. But yeah, like not just picking on that movie. There's a little bit of the first half of that slate that's just, I mean, I get it. We were all living in different times. Mm-hmm. And then the second half just feels like numbers should, a little bit like people, like economists treat inflation numbers.
Yeah.
Like pre and post COVID theater numbers are just very different. I don't know how many times I have to say this before people actually pay attention. They
are. But at the same time, I can't believe at the end of the slate, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom would be so high up.
I don't know, man. They're pretty and people like Momoa and I don't know. It's a one-off that like you don't have to know much about.
It's true.
It helps that it's around and like Ben Affleck was in the first one and that's fun. But like, wait, no, was he? He wasn't, was he?
He wasn't. No.
I was thinking of the cutscene in Justice League. No, like it's fun that
you were thinking of the cutscene in Aquaman 2.
No, I was thinking of the cutscene in Aquaman 2.
God.
But I knew about that part. But like, yeah, no, I mean, I think it's just enough removed that you can just go hang out with it. And the powers that be there made a pretty good fucking film. And it's fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, all of these are pretty good, at least.
I mean, how different is it from Avatar? Really?
I mean, my one exception is Wonder Woman 1984. It's not even Justice League. It's 84.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Which, yeah, just very different. But I am proud of this movie for what it did. I really am.
Yeah, it didn't do terribly.
Let me put it this way. Not to like change the landscape so that this looks less impressive. I think it looks more impressive given the landscape. I think they did a great job.
Well, hilariously, the only person we know is coming from DCU, like, officially is Jaime Reyes from Blue Beetle, and it made the least amount of any of them.
Yeah, you know.
Like,
But I think that may be why.
Tell me James Gunn ain't doing what he won't.
I know, but like that may be why it like okay, no one noticed this one, but I really like that character. Let's pull it.
All right, I'm gonna push ahead. Mush. Creature Commandos.
Mm-hmm.
James Gunn has confirmed that it will be 7 episodes. He says the story dictates the amount of episodes. Creature Commandos is 7. This in response to someone saying, "Will all DCU series have 8 episodes per season?" And he was like, "The story dictates the amount of episodes."
It reads like you want to interpret it as like, cool, we didn't have an ending, so 7's what you're getting.
No, that's not how I take it.
I'm sure. I think there's a weird instinct I have where for some reason odd numbered seasons seem like they might be more enticing in a way.
Oh
no, more enticing. Like they didn't just like this is a complete stupid bias, but it feels like they were like, no, we didn't just make 20 and a round number. It was 17 because we needed that last one to do something important.
Okay. I like your interpretation. I skew negatively.
I typically do too. It surprises me as well when I'm optimistic.
Yeah. Speaking of optimistic, Superman Legacy. First, James Gunn debunked a rumor. There were all these pictures of David Corenswet in the Superman suit. They were said to be leaks. Gunn says, "Glad you think he looks great, but there's no leak." The only photos taken of David in the Superman suit are on my phone, and I'm standing with him. And someone else wrote, "Then how come you don't want to publish a picture of him? So maybe people will stop asking, and then because it would be a nice way to announce the start of filming, or even just to let us see David as Superman from the day his casting was announced." And Gunn says, "It's the wrong suit."
Mm-hmm.
Because oftentimes they just use old suits from previous movies to get the idea of the look.
That's how Cavill got it.
He was literally in like Reeves' suit.
Yeah. So I get it. And also, I mean, man, I know a lot of musicians that are very afraid of that, like the demo effect, I think they call it. I think that's what Michael calls it in particular.
Yeah.
It's like that first version, even if it's your first draft, if people like it, they don't forgive you for the changes later.
Yep. And that is absolutely true. There's a band, it was a geek band. They might still be around. I don't know, but I used to listen to them a lot, called Ookla the Mock. And they put out they put out some demos on their website for free that you could just download. And I did. And one of them
attached.
Dude, the only one that I remember that they released for real on an actual album later was the demo for Mr. Worf. And basically the idea is everyone who would be in charge before Worf is not on the Enterprise. So Worf is, it's like almost like the ensigns, the voice of the song is through the ensigns who are scared if Worf is the only person in power. And they list off things from the episodes of why they think, because Worf did some stupid shit over the course of TNG. And
I was a very casual observer, but I do recall that.
Yeah. And
you don't want the guy in charge of the ship to be all like, this is a good way to die sometimes.
It builds up to a bridge.
And there are hundreds of people that may be a result of that decision.
Yes. They built up to a bridge of Worf rapping all of his great qualities.
Of course.
Anyway.
Of course they do.
Not really important. The fact is, I got so attached, like when they released it later, I was like, this is not listenable. They have dulled it. They have pruned it. They have polished it.
Over processed and produced, It
is a smooth stone sitting idly for hundreds of years in the ocean.
Yeah. This is
the waves,
like saccharine Taco Bell version of the street taco I got in Chile.
Yes. It was very disappointing. Even the rap was subdued. It was just... But no, that's why James Gunn isn't releasing a suit that he's not going to be wearing.
I know that was a long, weird diatribe on both of our parts, but yes,
How you
that's
doing? Welcome to DC on Screen.
Yeah,
Have you never listened before?
Instinct,
if you haven't, this is what it is.
Yeah. It is. It works the same with comedy or something like you can't tell a joke and then tell a better version of it later and it gets the same response. If you're very lucky, you're talking to somebody who like understands the like process of a joke well enough to maybe give some decent notes.
Yeah.
But that's
like someone
esoteric.
who's willing to go like, I understand why you did that incorrectly.
Yeah. We're like, I understand why you thought that was better, but here's why you're fucking wrong. Or like even like a magic trick or something. Like if I tried to do something and show you, if I just improve it later, it doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. Like the trick was already there. It's spoiled and ruined. It's the Studio 60 line. Comedy isn't as funny the second time.
Yep. Jason Goss line. There's no way to unshine that shoe.
Yeah, true.
That's how you reacted to people not liking Age of Ultron way back when, and it has stuck in my brain ever since.
I forget that phrase, but I still feel like, no, I said something there. I feel like we could like add to it later, but like kick it in the dirt all you want, but there's no way to unshine that shoe.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have to do it a little bit country when I do it.
You're ruining it. Just,
like the grandma's peach tea version a little bit.
And you brought it back around. Superman.
Oh, I was going there the whole time, sweetie.
Superman Legacy officially has a composer. We were talking about that a few weeks ago, about how they haven't officially announced.
Yeah.
Oh, is it John Williams? No, thank God. It was...
No, I love the guy, but let him rest. Yeah. He did his part.
Gunn is bringing in John Murphy. Frequent collaborator.
Mm-hmm.
He said, John was one of the first people I called when I finished the script many months ago, as I knew how incredibly important the score was to this production. John has been working tirelessly since, creating hours worth of music that we'll play on set as we shoot and use in the edit, and that will eventually be recorded with a glorious symphony for all of you.
I do love those like test versions of soundtracks you hear sometimes.
Yeah.
Where it's like 30 minutes of them just fucking around with a keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can hear Murphy, like at 17 minutes, there's like, oh, there's the 20 seconds that they used for this.
Yep. And I do really enjoy that kind of stuff. But then I'm also really frustrated because it doesn't do what I think it should be doing. Because I know the real piece, like the finished piece.
Yeah.
So basically do the demo effect in reverse.
Yes, completely. It
See?
can fuck every angle of a performance, no matter how you do this. Yes.
You see what I did there? I was proud of myself for that.
You brought us back.
I brought us back, damn. But yeah, John Murphy worked on the Suicide Squad with James Gunn. I believe, he did Guardians Volume 3, the holiday special. Yeah, we're good. We're in good hands here.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
28 weeks later, Kick-Ass.
I honestly forgot that was a film for a second. And I thought you were about to be like, 28 weeks later, we'll regret this decision.
No.
And I was confused for a second.
Yeah. So, someone asked how much of Superman Legacy and Origin Story, and Gunn said none. I told you, man. He's been telling us for months. This is not an origin story. This isn't Baby Superman. I
know, but I like that he's sticking to it. Do you not constantly have the feeling that somebody's going to be like, yeah, but you got to do like 4 minutes, man?
Nope. You do not.
I completely agree, though. How many of those 4 minutes do we have now? 2 hours worth?
Probably.
Like, if you just went through all the franchises and did the same scene over and over again?
If we go through, Clark wandering around and going up to the, Fortress of Solitude with his green stick, and then add in all the hours of, Chris Cornell howling as bearded Clark Kent wanders around in the snow.
I will not let it be said that he howled.
Whined?
That was an absolute cruder. A goddamn gift to the voice. And I will not have another word said against it.
As Chris Cornell
I'm
voweled
only a
his
little
way,
bit kidding about that. He was an amazing vocalist.
As he voweled his way through the scenes.
He did. It was a type of singing that was of the time, and he was... No, you're thinking of Pearl Jam, I think.
I thought it was Pearl Jam.
No. Yeah.
Initially.
So many did. No, that's Cornell's clear, crystalline voice.
Yeah.
You can tell when it's Pearl Jam because I don't know when the consonants happen.
You can tell when it's either of them because I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm just like, part of my soul dies, you know?
Yeah.
Like when I see Jennifer Garner hawking her like farm fresh bullshit. Yeah, like
I think the majority of grunge music, and like I have my rankings about which stuff that I listen to more or was more attracted to, but the majority of grunge music, like short of, and there's like crossover where you'd call like Weezer or Foo Fighters grunge, and
yeah,
yes and no, there's alt and alt grunge, and there's a whole, you can do whatever you want with terms, but like the like the classics, the Pearl Jam, STP, Nirvana, Cornell kind of, or Soundgarden kind of area of grunge. Yeah. I do feel like you spend a lot of time hoping I won't talk about it.
No, I
because
like
then you'll
I
actually
like a fair
have to
amount
hear
of
me
it.
talk about it.
No, I like a fair amount of it,
but
I'm not crazy about.
It's true though. Like, but
yeah, I like Soundgarden, but like I don't like a lot of Chris Cornell's later stuff.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I didn't either. That one solo was kind of it for me. And then there's this weird little faction where like Failure is a band we deeply love.
Yeah, Failure's great.
Yeah, no one knows them.
I mean, you turned me on to them.
Yeah.
And you were like, you won't like this. And I'm like, no, this is awesome. What are you talking about?
This is amazing. I was like, well, goddamn, that's amazing. Let me show you one song. You'll hate it.
Yeah.
I've listened to this for 12 hours on loop. Oh my God. We're even more bonded than I thought, Dave.
Yeah. This is before, this happened before.
It was like Stuck on You or Nurse Who Loved Me.
You sent me Smoking Umbrellas.
Oh, yeah. Track 6. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, you told me about Failure, but it was on like that Google Messenger shit. Remember when like the Google social media thing happened? Google Plus?
Google Plus, yeah.
Yeah. And you and Marsha weren't on Facebook, but you were on Google because Google wasn't going to do something. And I was like, what? They're all tracking our identities.
I don't know, man. I think that was just the one I got talked into because I don't think I was on either at the time.
Yeah, no, that's accurate. But yeah, I was sitting there and you were sending me Failure songs on the little Google IM thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, why can't Batman appear in Superman Legacy? And can we see Batman in some other production before this film? James Gunn responds, well, he can't appear in Superman Legacy because he's not in the script.
Great reason.
The script that Gunn wrote. But dude, like he's well past the scripting phase. Like they've got thousands of storyboards. Like he took a picture of it too, of them all like, he's got them like stacked in boxes and they have rubber bands over portions of them to like
categorize it,
categorize and condense each scene. Like, yellow is this scene, blah, blah, blah.
Kind of to help think about it,
Yeah. So they're not like, he can't just be like, well, I mean, it's clearly just one guy wants Batman. Everybody else seems to be bitching that I keep announcing heroes in this movie, but this dude wants Batman. So now I need to like go and rewrite and re-storyboard and make sure the Batman, No,
I mean, the most important thing to consider is like he set himself up very deliberately to not fall into what Snyder fell into. And like, it's not that Snyder didn't know it was coming. He just like hit a bad spot with a bad studio at a bad moment with a bunch of idiots in charge.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment he mentioned the word Batman, it was over. Like that was, I think how he described that. It was like the moment I said, well, I guess eventually they could kind of do this. And like that, he lost control of that direction of the films. And like Gunn kind of came in and said, we're not doing that. And I'll quit the day that happens.
Yeah, it sounds like, I don't care what anybody says. They've both said it numerous times. James Gunn and Zack Snyder are friends. I'm sure like James Gunn was looking at what Zack was doing, what happened to Zack, and was just like, no, we're going to get this squared away right up front before anything is.
Yeah, I mean, like
and plus James Gunn is friends with David Ayer.
Yeah, like he's not unacquainted with the situation in any way. He's set himself up as best he can, and time will tell. Maybe he'll be in a position where his negotiating power isn't that deep, or the other way around. But I mean, for now, all the vibe in the press that I could find on it that we've talked about over and over again just says that he's kind of calling those creative shots right now. Get the fuck off his nuts. And something like adding Batman at this stage is something he's explicitly said, no, we're not going to muddy the waters early. We're going to tell clear stories and build up to things if you want to like build up to it. But, you know, he's also said recently that, well, Snyder that said that the problem is everything has to have a build up. But like Gunn knows he's going into that situation, but he knows he's going into it in an era post that idea that you could just like hint at something and we're all going to assume and blah, blah, blah. Like,
yeah. It, you know,
plus they're fighting WB, man. Like, I don't care if Snyder or Gunn hit on the other person's wife. They would probably still have a greater enemy in Warner Brothers.
Probably. That
they would still be kind of friends, and even if there was something going on, they would still probably have a talk every once in a while.
Yeah.
Brothers in arms is how I'm imagining it a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Will AI be disclosed? Sorry, will it be disclosed if AI is going to be utilized for the legacy script? James Gunn says no AI. So y'all can just chop that off your dicks.
Dude wrote a season of Peacemaker in 2 months. I know it was quarantine, but still. He doesn't really need the help filling out the pages.
No, here's the thing. People are so obsessed with bullshit AI. Like anything, you could sit there and video yourself drawing meticulously for 4 or 5 hours, and somebody's going to comment and say, "Oh, this is AI. You're copying it. The AI machine is copying it, stealing everybody's." Bleh.
That's just whatever. That's going to be the battle for a while.
So, you know,
and
he's taking a stand. He's saying it's not there. I guarantee people will be saying he's lying and using AI in some way, whether it be visually or, you know, written. Oh, this dialogue sucks. It sounds like it was written by AI. And then that's the rumor. Yeah, the rumor's spreading.
Yeah, I mean, God, Hallmark got a channel in our childhood.
They still have a channel.
Those were just humans writing that
middle
shit.
Age.
They gave them that while we were growing up and thought this needs more time and money. And like you're telling me somebody couldn't just spit that out? Come on, man. Like, it's not that. Yeah. It's a fun tool. I use it at work all the time. I just use it to do grunt tasks and reinterpret it so that it's actually like a human output. Yeah,
well, when you're doing that, you know, apparently.
I don't write scripts for a living.
Plagiarizing. You were using other people's work. Blah, 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 blah. I know, I don't give a shit.
I just think in a lot of situations, if I'm trying to write a full sentence and I just ask it to do the full sentence instead, I don't feel like I've violated anyone's natural rights.
Yeah,
I just don't. And I do hate to say that I'm asking AI to do grunt work for me, but occasionally that is the case. It's also that like you'll occasionally see something that you like more than how you would have worded it or whatever.
Yeah,
but
sure.
In any case, let's not tell the AI that I use it for grunt work in case this turns a certain way.
Of course. And no, I don't think Jason is
this recording and find
Jason, by using this, is not taking someone else's job. There was not going to be another job. He is just saving himself a little time.
I mean, yes. And I got a raise. But that was because I replaced the job that we were going to. I mean, that's beside the point.
Yeah. Shh. Don't tell him the part about the raise.
Don't have to worry about that. It was on merit. Just called on merit.
It was.
Yeah. It was. Kudos.
All of us use AI constantly. We just didn't know what to call it. And we've been doing it for years.
I mean, there's an interpretation of this where like Google search for the last 25 years has just been interpreting AI or AI interpreting things for us.
Yeah. Anyway.
Because we know Netscape Navigator couldn't do that shit.
Will Superman Legacy be shot in IMAX? James Gunn says yes.
Sweet.
They said, this guy says, James, there is a rumor going around that Superman Legacy will be used to show us a wider DC universe, but after the film, Superman will not be a primary character in the universe going forward, and instead, that role will go to Supergirl. I want both characters to play a primary role, and I want to see stories we've never seen before in live action. There is so much to explore with the Superman mythos. I know fellow fans feel the same way. Do these rumors have any weight? And Gunn says, quit listening to dumb rumors.
You know, you want to know if there's a follow-up, but there doesn't need to be.
No. Look, I know that it's really popular.
It's a well-phrased question, but it was premised on the rumor.
And the rumor. And there's a sect of society, and it's mostly straight white men. Let's just put that out there because it's true.
Let's just go ahead and call it the incel group and move forward from that. Right?
They're so worried that every time a female character is introduced, they're going to replace one of us. Well, these superheroes aren't you, buddy.
I thought I was joking about incel till you finished that, and now I'm not. Now I realize I wasn't joking in context.
Yeah. It's like they start these rumors. It's just, where like normal people get worried about it. Like people who are like, oh, I just want like Superman. I just want to see Superman for a little bit before he gets replaced. So is it just going to be Supergirl? And, there's no telling if this person is an incel, but it feels like he was infected or inspired or,
well, it's the same entitlement that you've referred to many times. Like the moment it isn't something that they primarily identify with, then it's corrupted the whole thing. That they're somehow entitled to that interpretation of a character.
They're erasing the straight white male.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Reacher's like one of the biggest shows in the world right now, and he's nothing but a gigantic straight white male.
Unit of a white dude.
He is more male than any of you pieces of shit complaining about this.
Combined.
It's
the most machismo-esque, bravo-esque, bravado-esque character I've ever seen in my life. And I enjoyed every second of it. It was fun.
Yeah. So this is really scary, actually. It's being reported that Jurassic World, the new world, the new sequel, will release within a week of Superman Legacy. Like July 2nd is when the new Jurassic World movie is coming out. And Superman Legacy will be July 11th. These are both 2025, by the way.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think Superman Legacy moves?
I think Jurassic World moves.
Well,
if we're doing the Catch Me Later version of this interpretation, I think Jurassic World moves. I think it had less time to mount itself.
I think Jurassic World. I think if it does move, it'll be indicative of a few different problems with Jurassic World. But
how many different versions of that last movie were released?
Jason, Jurassic World Dominion. The last one that came out?
Yeah.
29% on Rotten Tomatoes, 77% on the audience review, still grossed over $1 billion worldwide.
I believe you. I watched it happily.
No Superman has made $1 billion.
Even if you inflate the 1970 numbers, I don't think it's going to actually come out to that.
So we should be worried. WBD should be worried.
I don't discount that theory of it, for sure. I just think it's going to be like a production time thing. I don't think they can mount this in the time that Gunn has had to get this done.
You just think Jurassic World...
I think they'll just delay it for a couple months.
Be delayed because they can't get it ready in time. Yeah. Not because they're afraid.
Correct.
Gotcha. Yeah, Gunn goes into production in March on Superman Legacy. I am hoping Jurassic World moves. It's a point of weakness and it looks bad and people will talk and it'll get out there. Like people in my family who don't follow this shit will be like, oh, I hear they were scared of Jurassic World and they moved. I think it's a terrible idea for them to move. And I really hope Jurassic World is the one that does it because I don't want to watch Jurassic World kill Superman. And they will. It doesn't matter. They will.
When did Dominion come out? When are they, late 21?
Something like that.
Middle, late 21? Like, I don't think there's any giant change in, like, the overall picture that's happened since Dominion came out. Where I'm talking about, like, old world, new world kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, I just think...
People
like dinosaurs more than superheroes, man.
Yeah, I think if it's just a matter of those numbers, then yeah, I think that it would be better if they were both coming out on the same day. If Superman jumped back, or forward, that would probably be a good decision. But I don't know. I just didn't see that Jurassic World had been booted up long enough to really get that done in that kind of time frame.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a director, but
it just feels like Gunn's already like picking out fabrics for costumes and shit.
Oh no, he's well into that.
Like we're into some fine points. Like he's doing blocking. Like I just don't know if they're going to be able to get a bunch of CGI dinosaurs ready in time.
I hope not. Okay, so this person says, how much of screen time does Millie Alcock have as Supergirl in Superman Legacy? And Gunn says, I never even said she was in the movie.
Is he to the point where like he's being coy by that, or he's just too far into being like, is it just like, well, I never even fucking said she was. What am I even answering right now?
Mm-hmm.
Is he just frustrated, or is he just being kind of...
Yeah. Well, it's true, though. We haven't talked about it, and Millie Alcock was selected as Supergirl. She is officially Supergirl. James Gunn said it. He said, he announced it. He says, he said in a later post, though, he says, Millie was the first person I brought up to Peter for this role well over a year ago when I had only read the comics. I was watching House of the Dragon and thought she might have the edge, grace, and authenticity we needed for the DCU's Supergirl. And now here we are. Life is wild sometimes. And a whole bunch of people have taken this statement to mean that Gunn always had Alcock in mind and never intended to give Sasha Calle from The Flash a real chance. To that I say, so the fuck
like,
what?
I get it. I get it. I get the time frame of the argument.
Gunn's in charge of this universe. Sasha was great. It is a shame to lose her. But if any one of the people bitching were in charge, they would be like right there making those tough decisions and ruining dreams and making others' dreams come true. Pissing off certain sections of the fan base, making others happy. I'm just sick of vilifying people for making their own creative choices, because that's what he's doing. That's what so many of you out there, if any of you are listening, I doubt it, because most of you have probably went, these guys aren't for us. You hypocrites out there who are like, oh yeah, Zack Snyder can have his artistic integrity and value the artist. And then James Gunn comes along and any little thing
or
he
Machete
says,
before him.
Anyway.
I get
Tom
it.
King.
I get it. But quick question.
Yeah.
I mean, do we know this? At what point in the writing process and then the final product process, I do feel like we've discussed it, but maybe just privately. At what point in the script was it part of the Flash that just, that bitch was going to die? And that was a cemented point, if it was like Time Lord kind of phrasing.
I don't know because there were so many different writers on that script. Like, it was changed and morphed and, transmogrified or whatever.
Well, I agree, but I mean, you see what I'm asking though. Like, if her doom was written in early on, then there's probably not much merit to this. If it's very late, then maybe.
Her doom came about after James Gunn. His regime taking over.
See, I felt very good about Keaton's doom.
Yeah. Because that final scene of The Flash was supposed to be the Justice League, most of them showing up in civvies, and Barry would see that Supergirl was there with them, which means, oh my God, she survived. She's alive in this timeline. I must have made some minor change, and now she's here.
And instead, he went to 1992.
No.
Or 3.
No. I'm talking about the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So he was supposed to have changed time, gone back to his present. So that would have been 2020 or whatever, 2021, whenever the damn Flash came out. 23, was that it?
I think so, yeah.
Damn it. He was supposed to come back to the present, and Sasha Calle's Supergirl was there, standing next to Henry Cavill. This is a thing that was apparently shot. And the only difference was, aside from her being there, instead of Ben Affleck getting out of the limo, it was Michael Keaton. And that was going to propel us into Hamada's plan, which would have culminated in Crisis on Infinite Earths.
I get that. Well, I mean, what I was saying was like, if we go back to like 92, 93, that's where he got Clooney instead. And I don't know. I mean,
92 or 93?
wasn't that 92, 93?
Nope. I don't know what you're talking about. Are you talking about 1992?
Yeah, Clooney Batman.
Clooney Batman was 97.
God, it was that late?
The canon, quote unquote canon ending is George Clooney gets out of the car and none of the Justice League members show
Oh no,
up.
that's my point. Was it went back for that? And well, anyway, the point was the timeline was very, very absurd. But yes, that's what I was asking. Was like, do we know at what point in production that changed? Because yes, that would be a very clear kind of hard to misinterpret, version of events. Like,
no, Gunn came in and they axed that ending.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they didn't want to promise anything they didn't know they were going to deliver.
Yeah. It's hard to disagree with him.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. But, if he had this idea a year ago, that's before The Flash came out. So he knew it didn't matter how the damn thing went. Sasha Calle wasn't going to be Supergirl in his universe. And that's fine. I liked her. I think she would be perfect for Woman of Tomorrow. But, Gunn doesn't. So that's what's happened. Sorry.
Yeah. And it more and more seems like it was scuttled as part of does it not just seem like they had, or like Gunn even kind of implied at least, that there would be parts of this we're going to save, and that the amount of parts deteriorated over time. Like, hey, we're going to think about saving this, and these characters, and we'll talk about this. But it really just has like fastened down to basically, yeah, we're just going to restart, and this Blue Beetle guy, I think we're going to bring him in.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, and there will be elements that are the same, though. Certain people retaining their roles and shit.
Yeah. Like early interpretations, though, or early pitches, it seemed like it was more open to like, I don't know. I mean, like Gal Gadot might be involved, and like Cavill was very clearly, infamously now involved, and Affleck was going to be in this movie. Decisions have happened.
We've been through a lot.
Yeah.
That's basically what I'm trying to get at.
That could be the tagline for this fucking show.
So according to THR, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow could be on track to film this year, hinting at a late 2025 or early 2026 release. I don't think it'll be that soon, but it does seem like they've got a writer who's working on it and apparently has a version of it out there that Gunn read. I mean, they could really start getting into production this year, late 2024, probably. But as far as production,
yeah,
it seems like that one's going quicker. And, he's even said that. We'll get to that in a little while. But he's even talked about how certain productions have moved quicker than others, and some have been pushed back and rearranged since that announcement he made of his slate.
Yeah, standard.
So
we do. Still
I thought
have
it might
to do
be
like
fun.
The Supergirl review at some point on that book, the Tom King actual book.
Oh yeah, we do. We need to talk about that on Patreon.
Yeah.
So what do you think of Millie Alcock? I've personally looked at, clips of her on I almost said Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon and whatnot. I think she's a good actor. I can see like the qualities, but I don't really see her so far as Supergirl. Like, we'll see. I'm going to be open to her, but
no, it's not like I think you looked up more than I would have known anyway. I don't really know her from anything proper. I mean, what I'm working off might as well just be a headshot. As far as like, oh, does that look like it makes sense to me? I don't know, but I don't feel like I've known any Supergirl actress ever.
Yeah, I couldn't help but notice. It is strange. Maybe it's just a thing in people's faces, a certain thing that James Gunn likes, some kind of quality. But she looks a little like what's the dude who played Adam Warlock?
I don't know his name.
Will Poulter, that's his name. Like if you go back and look at Will
I know
Poulter
his face
when he was a
as
kid,
an adult, and I know him from the meme.
Yeah, if you go back and look at his face as a kid, it just looks like Millie Alcock.
I could see a little bit. Like maybe there's a high cheekbone effect here.
Yeah, she's also got kind of a
Harcourt kind of has like a high cheekbone effect too, a little bit.
Harcourt. Oh yeah. That's interesting. See, I was gonna go Will Poulter. the little redheaded girl from Dennis the Menace cartoon.
True.
Baby Groot.
Rocket, who
No,
famously
Rocket.
has high cheekbones as a raccoon,
Yeah.
as one does.
I don't know. I think she looks a lot like a couple of Gunn characters at least. Like there's that similarity there.
Possibly.
Hmm.
I mean, it's possible. Like he could have like there's a pocket for him of comfort in casting, but it also like it's going to be like prescribed by the Supergirl characteristics, right?
Yeah, but she doesn't look anything like the Supergirl that Bill Quasevely drew in Woman of Tomorrow, which is strange to me because her version of Supergirl was tall and just looked very, very different.
True, but I don't feel like, and this is what you're asking about earlier with bringing up the rankings people. I don't feel like I've ever run across somebody who's like, oh no, that's that character for me.
Yeah.
Benoist was close.
Yeah, I think so. Actually, you want to go ahead and rank our live action Supergirls?
I'll do a real quick version if you want to.
Cool. Yeah, no, that's fine. I don't have a really long one.
Who were the four you mentioned?
Okay, we had Sasha Calle, that she was the one in the Flash. Mm-hmm. Melissa Benoist from CW Supergirl. Mm-hmm. Laura Vandervoort from Smallville. Mm-hmm. And Helen Slater from the 1984 film Supergirl. If you want, you can throw in Adrian Padalecki, who was the fake Kara Zor-El in Smallville, but we don't have to, and I certainly didn't.
I mean, yeah, it honestly it's Benoist because I loved that character, the portrayal. I had a lot of time with her. Yeah. Looked very much like what I kind of have in my head as like the memory of comics, like that archetype they give you after drawing them for 20 different artists over 3 decades or something.
Yeah.
They start to look like a certain thing. It doesn't, I mean, there are nuances, but you know what the character looks like. And yeah, like she's the closest in certain ways for me, but also like I spent more time with her. So that's going to be top for me. And after that, it might be Sasha just because like,
yeah,
I really loved that performance. It was extremely like vivid. I know there's a recency effect here where like I just saw it and I'm still pretty excited about it things, but like, yeah, that was really cool. And it was very standout. And then everything after that, I feel like is just, I don't know. I mean, we could list it however you want, but it kind of give or take for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, where'd you land?
My least favorite Supergirl would be Helen Slater from 84. She seems like a lovely woman. I've never really cared for her acting style. So that's just never going to fly with me.
Didn't she show
pun
up
intended.
Like Benoist's mom?
Yeah. And she was,
I think I liked her more there.
She was, Clark's mom, his Kryptonian mother on Smallville as well.
Yeah, of course. Why not?
Yeah. Number 3 for me is Laura Vandervoort because I thought it was funny. I knew she was going to land somewhere near your bottom because when I was talking to you, you were like, which one was she again?
Yeah.
And I was like, Smallville. And you're like, I don't remember her from Smallville.
Not a bit.
And she was there. She would show up from time to time and help out.
Supergirl Brainiac lore.
She did play Brainiac on
3
Supergirl.
Or 4 or something.
Yeah, Brainiac 3, I think. But that was a legacy casting because she was Supergirl on Smallville.
Yeah.
But she would only show up for like big things and just be like, Clark, there's something coming. Something happened. Well, I got to go fly around and figure out a thing again. And we wouldn't see her for a few episodes. Like, that's how. But, she wasn't bad, I didn't think. She just didn't stand out either.
Yeah.
But they didn't give her a lot. So, number 2, I'm going to go pretty much your way. Sasha Calle.
Powerful,
fantastic.
Recent. You're good.
Yeah. I loved her. Wanted to see what more she had. I wanted to see that character fleshed out. Just not going to happen, at least for right now. And but Melissa Benoist is my top because I spent way more time with her as Supergirl. And every once, she would do stupid shit that I didn't like. But I feel like that was more of a directing choice.
It was. And like, they gave her a lot of hope speeches and you got so fucking tired of those so early.
Yeah, and the only thing I hated more than hope speeches...
They would occasionally sneak one in where you're like, yeah, that one actually got to me.
Yeah, every once in a while. But, the thing I hate more than Hope speeches is like them just saying like, oh no, it's a big asteroid thing coming towards Earth. We got, what do we do? And then she's like, well, we have to stop it. That's obvious. Why would you say that? And then like Supergirl, like,
it does make you wonder, like, if like Supergirl's in the room and someone's like, well, we have to stop it. You want the person who brought it up to be like, all right, listen, I wasn't trying to be impolite. I didn't think we were going to have to dumb this down. Supergirl, get the fuck up there. I was just trying to bring it up to be polite. Go.
Yeah. So like, but Melissa Benoist to do this thing, and I'm sure they told her to do it. But she would like furrow her brow and like nod once emphatically, like, understood. Like, why are you doing that? This is such a terrible choice.
She would do a thing where it was like, this is my mission. Like, yes, no, this is a job for Supergirl. We know the line.
Yeah, but
which was funny because, a couple of days over from that episode, there was like Grant Gustin nodding like a fucking bobblehead doll.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he had to actually do something hard.
Yeah. Yep. That's absolutely true. And he had his little, a few other quirks, but
I love them both so dearly. Please don't take that as shitty.
Yes. No. There's always going to be something that bugs me about things, everything, no matter what.
Yeah.
But no, Melissa's my Supergirl, and
she did. She made me cry a few times, man.
I think she would kill it if she got more time. Like, she already did kill it.
She did. I mean, she made me cry in the small time she had.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we had like 6 seasons of Sasha Calle Supergirl,
yeah,
even at the same quality as the Flash movie, I think she would beat out Melissa
completely. For me. I mean, I think if you gave her enough time, for sure, I think she'd, wield the title eventually. I mean, hell, Sasha made me cry when she fucking accepted the role. You remember that Zoom?
Yes, absolutely, recording? I do. That haunts me.
Yeah,
it haunts me, man.
I know. It like you see someone so excited about something, you want that to be so much more than it was. But at the same time, God, I really enjoy what we got. Yeah, I don't want to diminish that.
I agree. Oh, you know who Millie Alcock actually looks like?
Who's that?
Billie Piper.
Yes, very much so. I forgot her name, but yes, Rose.
Rose from Doctor
Goddamn
Who.
Rose. You're right.
All right. I'm going to head to break. You want to head to break and we can tackle the rest of this monster of an episode?
Let's knock out that break. Power through. Get them rips.
I'm cutting now. And we are back. This person asked, do you consult with Casey Bloys and the team at Max for their opinions on the episodes as you finish writing them? James Gunn says 1000%. Casey and Sarah Aubrey and Joey Chavez are our incredibly trusted partners on the show. Their guidance and ideas are incredibly important. Dweeb Riley, I'll say his name, I don't know why, says, I imagine it's so far ahead, you're not even thinking about it. But I hope you come back to direct a few episodes of Peacemaker Season 2. I really loved the tone you established. And Gunn said, it's not so far ahead. Dude, I want Peacemaker Season 2. I'm very excited.
I do. I thought at some point we talked about how he said he's just trying to kind of like get the time established in the schedule for him to do it, but he's going to be heavily involved.
Yeah.
With Peacemaker 2. Also, I love how this cracks me up when you read some of his tweets where like, I know it's just words in a certain way, but you read it like, where I'm like, well, what does he mean, man? Does he mean like he hopes he's attached to it? Or he wishes he had more time too? I'm confused.
Yeah, I didn't intend that.
It occasionally just makes me wonder if there's like a ... and then he finishes the sentence. But then I realized that it's just like you talking about James Gunn in his, what I'll call the cagey era. After what I would have to call the extremely transparent era.
I think what I'm really usually getting at, what I'm usually trying to do, and maybe I'm just really bad at it, is I'm trying to showcase that the people asking most of these questions, not all of them, but most of them are stupid. And that Gunn is, being polite, but kind of annoyed.
Yeah. I get that.
Because that's usually, when he's like putting eye rolling emojis and shit, that's, yeah, You're kind of tired of this, aren't you, James?
He does a lot of that. It does make you wonder there. How much of like, you remember that dictate a while back where he was like, well, the problem is I spend too much time doing this. And then also if I like say one thing's true, I have to, that implies other thing.
Yeah.
How much of that was just him just being like, man, I can't do this every fucking day of my life.
Yeah, I don't know. So, someone says, hey, James, some people are spreading the conspiracy theory that you canceled the Batman 2, but I have to ask, is it true? And his response is no, with an eye-rolling emoji.
Yeah.
Why would he cancel the Batman Part 2? The Penguin is about to come out. You guys are crazy as shit.
I was surprised he didn't hit back with, you literally called that a conspiracy theory.
Yeah. And
the eye roll was giving them more credit than they deserved, frankly.
Yeah. And there's more rumors. This person said, is it true that Brave and the Bold will only be released after the end of Matt Reeves' Batman trilogy? And Gunn said, no. Why would that be true? That never crossed my mind. That would be a thing, that they were just going to let Matt Reeves do a trilogy. He spent like 2 or 3 years writing the damn Batman sequel. Like, we're not going to wait for him to film this shit and release it and then go back and spend 3 more years writing. Like, James Gunn won't even be with the studio anymore. Maybe.
I mean, maybe. But that is a 4 and 10 year mark thing that remains to be seen. But also, like,
yeah,
Reeves, like, dude, the first time we saw that trailer, and don't get me wrong, that trailer brought it. But the first time we saw that fucking trailer, it was like a 1.5 plus, 1.75 years before the movie was actually like really available.
Well, that part of that was because they had to stop filming because of COVID a few times.
I'm aware, but like, don't just give me like, oh, the Batman is around the corner kind of vibes, because my instincts are in that area. Oh, Matt Reeves is working on the Batman. We'll see you in 2028.
Yeah. I mean, but there's no way they were going to ever say, oh, let's hold off on our Batman for that Batman.
They made a mint.
There will be other Batman.
It was cited in his like announcement of the 10-year plan for reasons.
Yep.
For specific reasons.
This person writes, James, is it true that a new actor is about to be cast for Batman? How are they doing? Or sorry, how are they going? And James says, keep getting this question. Don't know where it's coming from, but wherever it is, it's totally false. We don't have a script yet.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, why are they throwing this stuff at him?
Yeah, it's just people are going nuts. There's too much of a drought of news, I think.
Possibly.
And, but I understand why.
Could be like one of those droughts that's beyond the just, we're going to make stuff up because we don't have any idea what's going on, because there's like a little bit of news here and there and we're just conflating. But yeah, it seems to sometimes wander into the whole like, the fuck are you even talking about area? Was that a dream? Yeah. Do you have a fever?
Yeah.
Please close Twitter.
Yeah, we should have like a chip in our head that like just starts screaming at us, you know, rationality is compromised. Please exit Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, DC.
I think I would just not let you open Twitter.
Yeah, no.
It'd just be an app that told you couldn't do things.
Yeah. I feel like we probably need a chip in our heads to tell us what we need to do anyway.
True.
And it should be powered by AI.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
I wouldn't.
Let us know in the comments.
I'm not opposed to a brain that made me like make better life choices. I'd be open to that idea.
Yeah. Jason, I'm trying to get us our engagement up, you know?
Yeah. Right.
Never not working.
Yeah. Hustle.
Get it.
Yeah.
Cash that check.
Leg day.
Oh, God. Yeah, so someone asked if the Elseworlds Superman movie, that's the Ta-Nehisi Coates Black Superman movie, asked if it was still in development. Yes, Gunn says. So, hey, there you go. That's still in development.
Cool.
I just like to know every once in a while, every few weeks, someone will ask him that, and he's like, yes. We have not stopped the development.
It'd be nice if there was like some kind of board, like just a board on the wall, like John Wick style almost. That was like, this film is excommunicado. This film is still worth X million dollars.
Yeah. So someone asked James if he was a big fan of Captain Atom, and he was like, absolutely, I love Captain Atom. And he posted a few old comic covers, you know, and of course a bunch of so-called journalistic sites were saying James Gunn is hinting at a Captain Atom movie. No, I don't think he was doing that.
Have you seen Creature Commandos? You can like a character without wanting to have a movie.
Yeah. I mean, no one's seen Creature Commandos.
Have you seen the idea of Creature Commandos? The sheer concept.
Yeah. By the way, there was a ton of like bullshit around this, and a lot of people reporting it. So according to Christopher Reeve's family, they were not contacted. They were not involved in his in his likeness being used in the Flash. And then like every version of this article I see immediately goes into them saying like Superman wasn't even his favorite role. He really liked this other thing that he did. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm a DC fan. I like Christopher Reeve from other things, but
yeah,
he's Superman. So suck it.
Also,
but to you, he was Dad. To me, he's Superman. They're very close in some ways, but
especially at formative years. But I'm also like going to be curious about the upshot of this because we're both reading that Superman vs. Hollywood book.
Yeah,
and man, a lot of the picture does not indicate anything along those lines. But that doesn't mean that authorship doesn't have it wrong here. Like he seemed, from the little bit of the history I've seen around that time in the 70s, he seems to have like wanted to do other things and really liked doing them. But
yeah,
and he also seemed to have like soured on Superman.
Yeah,
so early on after the first movie, frankly. But
yeah, well, after Donner was fired.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like he just like immediately went into some other thing. He just kind of seemed like he was a bit drifty and unhappy in the 70s.
Yeah, but he also like
but then like he would do these
like
other little films and they would kind of bomb a little bit, and I don't know, it just seemed like he was not happy from.
Yeah, I mean, he loved Superman, but I mean, he went on to, I think he was pretty much behind Superman 4 in a lot of ways. I don't really remember. I thought he was an EP on it or something and co-wrote the story. I might be wrong as hell.
I think that sounds right. I think I'm right at that point in the book, honestly.
But yeah, like I mean, clearly there's always like that when you're tuggling between, having power and then like having a studio making the decisions and cutting costs, and yeah, it's hell. By the way, when I say I'm reading that book, that means that I keep it close to my bed, and every couple of days I touch it and go, I need to read that.
Yeah.
And then I wander off and don't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just osmosis wise, just throw it under the pillow, see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't have any problem.
Same time though, like, man, at what point? Because, there's the old Hollywood idea of like the Superman curse. And at what point do you have to wonder, I mean, in the overall telling of the story of the Superman curse, they have Reeve involved right now. And then at what point do you wonder if Cavill's involved? Yeah.
But you know what? Tom Cruise could play Superman tomorrow and
Superman, man
say,
up
yeah, he could do Superman and be huge and make all the money in the world that he hasn't already made, which is very little.
He's got kind of most of it.
Yeah. And then 10, 15 years later, he could die of cancer after being extremely rich, making 25 more Mission Impossible movies. And despite having never been killed doing any of the crazy stunts he did, because he died of cancer, at a ripe old age, probably older than anyone deserves to live, they'll say, it's the Superman curse. Yeah, he played Superman to acclaim, but he died when he got old.
This is the problem with curses, is that they're rarely so like associated with something that you can just like pin it down to that.
Yeah, it's like the SNL curse. Yeah, it's like they're like, the SNL curse. 5 people out of 400 cast members died over the last 60 years.
No shit.
Even
then it'll be like they died one every year, except for the 5th who died 23 years later. But let's not look at that.
It's the curse.
Like, let's keep it in the narrator voice while we talk about that.
And at this point, Kenan Thompson's been on the show so long, he's literally just like fisting himself with voodoo dolls.
Yeah. No, there would be a bit about him at some point where he's just looking at the camera going, well, then why the fuck am I still here? If this is a real problem, I should be dead by now.
So yeah, like I was saying though, I don't care if they were contacted or not, or, I mean, there's a certain point where like they just own that version of the character and they can do whatever the hell they want. Why would you go and be like, oh, hey, a family, your loved one, your dad was Superman. Can we do that? Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, legally you can. You don't have to ask us. And they're like, oh, well, I just wanted to make sure it was okay with you. Cool. We don't want you to do it. Yeah, we're going to do that anyway. If you're legally in the clear, you don't want to put yourself in a position where someone might say no. And then well, they asked, but we said no, but then they did it anyway.
No, but I actually have heard stories, especially on like the journalistic side, where you do exactly that, so that later you can just say, well, but we did ask, and here's the document where they said fuck off. Yeah,
because
we asked about the curse, and they didn't want to talk about it.
I just think it's stupid. They own the rights to his version of Superman. They don't have to ask anybody.
No, they really don't. I get it.
If he signed a specific contract that lets them do that, that's his fault and his management's fault.
Honestly, like tearing through this book a little bit, it sounds like everything you just said was right. Yes, the management was a little bit. They were all learning this 40 years ago,
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's not shady to some degree or kind of shitty, because it is a little bit.
Oh, no, this interpretation is very much that it was a little bit shady, but a little bit naive and some combination.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, I don't consider this a situation where they used his face for 2 seconds on, or 10 seconds on The Flash, and, what happens? I don't know. Who cares? Like, everyone's like, this is disrespectful. You know what was disrespectful? Bill Finger dying alone on a couch in his
or Schuster or Siegel, yeah.
Schuster or Siegel, like all these people died penniless.
Definitely not the way to interpret that name.
Yeah, they were not able to even go to their Superman play, the play based on their character. Bill Finger died alone in a 1-room apartment on his couch, like penniless. This isn't one of those situations.
One of the Superman creators ended up being a delivery guy. And went to the headquarters at some point and was given X amount of money, I think it was, to not come here again because he was distracting. Yeah. And I want to say it was the artist that actually died with limited vision, just because, go fuck yourself, humans.
Yeah, this
life is tragic. There's a reason the Greeks were such a thing.
So yeah, the reason that Christopher Reeve's family was being interviewed is because there's a documentary called Super/Man, the Christopher Reeve story, and a bunch of different studios were vying for it. James Gunn apparently pushed the studio to acquire it.
Cool.
And that makes sense. He's like, nope, we're going to have Christopher Reeve's story. They're going to talk about the good and the bad of Superman a little bit. Good and bad of WB. The best people to put this out and own it is us. But he says, I saw the stunningly beautiful documentary Super/Man, the Christopher Reeve story, a couple of weeks ago. It emotionally floored me. Peter and I knew DC Studios needed to be involved, and I'm grateful to Peter and our WBD family at Warner Brothers, HBO, CNN, and Max having worked so hard to acquire it. It's a wonderful film by wonderful filmmakers, not only for people like me who love Reeves' work, but for everyone. And I will absolutely watch that.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Someone asked James Gunn, are going writing Guardian of Galaxy Volume 4 and solo movie of Star-Lord? James Gunn says, no, I'm pure DC. DCEU Gunn says, could you write a movie for Marvel if you wanted to? He says, I could not either physically or legally.
Okay, get legally. Physically is hilarious. Well done, man.
Yeah. So James Gunn posted this, and it was kind of interesting. He had some stuff to say. He says, this was like 7 days ago. Mm-hmm. 6-7 days ago, I guess. I don't know. 1 year ago today, Peter Safran and I introduced our DC slate for the first time. Thanks to all of you for the support you've given us throughout the year. Today, Superman Legacy is about to start production. Episodes of Creature Commandos are being finished that will release later this year. At least 2 more projects are gearing up to go in the next couple months. Amazing scripts keep coming in, and incredible talent are being attached to new projects, planned and unplanned. So this thing is like a living, breathing slate. Like it's not like it was a few months ago when he announced it. It's not in that order necessarily anymore.
No,
not all of those things might be happening now. Some other things might be. Like, I am very, very interested and happy to see that they're being open to new things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel like anyone listening to us is not so naive that they would think that slate was in, cemented form.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're obviously going to play with it. Some things are going to come and go. Like,
I think most people, no matter whether they listen to us or not, go, yeah, I'll believe when I see it.
A little bit, but I keep thinking, well, that's a weird thing. Like, if you're deep enough into the lore that you're diving in and like seeing it 10 years late, then you're deep enough to have some considerations. But there's also, in a lot of cases, like some kind of like hopeful naivety about like, well, this is definitely going to happen, and it's really probably not in a lot of cases. I feel like me and you dial back a lot from, well, let's meet our expectations here for that. Ooh. But
sorry,
you okay?
Yeah, TV Time just notified me that Quantum Leap is coming back in an hour, and I was like, ah!
It sounded like someone just put like a cube of ice on your lower back. Was it sure what just happened? Ooh.
Woo!
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I don't know. If it was important, just move on. We'll be all right. We'll bring it up in some later episode.
Yeah. Which Wonder Woman does Gunn like? This guy says, James, do you like Diana as a bloody warrior or an ambassador of peace? And Gunn,
both,
echoing my thoughts, said, I like both versions. Yeah. I want to see her like with the Zack Snyder heads hanging off of her belt, like going to mediate peace. Like that's what I want to see.
There's, I'll try to look it up really quickly, but there is a Gail Simone quote that I'll fucking love.
Yeah, I feel like I want to see her like walk into the negotiating chamber, with the heads hanging from her belt, and they're like, we thought you were an ambassador of peace. And she's like, yes, but I'm also an ambassador of fuck around and find out.
No, this is it, though. I mean, yes, a little bit the other way directionally. We have a saying, my people: don't kill if you can wound, don't wound if you can subdue, don't subdue if you can pacify, and don't raise your hand at all until you've first extended it. I do fucking love that phrase. Right.
That's great. Yeah.
That is glorious Wonder Woman writing. Thank you, fucking Gail Simone, for that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
But at the same time, like, this is one of the things you like about Wonder Woman is like, yeah, she'll extend it, but if that doesn't work out well, she gonna fuck you up a little bit.
Yeah. So 37 years ago today, says J.M. DeMatteis, the Bwahaha era of Justice League was launched, and I began one of the great creative journeys of my career. This is the Geffen DeMatteis
Justice League with Guy Gardner and Blue Beetle and Booster Gold and all that shit. You know?
So yeah, that's and James Gunn says, love it. And he said this before. He loves that run of Justice League. I don't blame him. It's a great run. And we had Brandon Bayham on Twitter, the _bat_Bran, if you want to follow along his feed.
Mm-hmm.
He says to us, since Gunn has been teasing Justice League International lately, what are your thoughts on it? Who would you want on the team roster? And now that we know Blue Beetle will be making a comeback appearance, do you think we'll see him in a Ted Kord movie? All right, let's tackle the first one first, I guess. Yes, I will take everyone.
All right, first of all the yes. Just get that out of the way.
Yeah, I would love to see Mr. Miracle. I think primarily my main focus is going to be I want to see Batman, Martian Manhunter, Booster, and Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
And Shazam was in that lineup at some point. I would love it if Zachary Levi actually made it back through.
Yeah.
He would be a lot of fun.
I would too. I don't think, I don't know. We've probably mentioned this before at some point. I don't know. Maybe I haven't brought it up, but I don't know what I expect out of that character as a live screen version. But
who?
Shazam. I don't know what I expect as a live screen version of that character, but I think I got it. Like I think I got everything I would have hoped for or wanted out of it.
You know what my vision has always been for Shazam?
I mean, not that I don't want more movies or anything. It's just I don't think he failed me is what I'm saying, I guess.
No, I don't think he failed me necessarily, but it's not what I would have done. If that makes any sense. Like, what I got is, I don't know who would be cast as Shazam.
Mm-hmm.
Billy Batson was pretty perfect, but I would specifically do like a Patrick Warburton kind of thing with Shazam. just like big squinty-eyed, like big squinting all the time, like big grin, like, hello, citizen. You know, like, because he's like doing what he thinks Superman is.
A little bit, but like, even if I try to...
He's still a 10-year-old boy.
I know this is just like my limited mind trying to do this. Even if I'm like, well, what if somebody else? It's still going to be like Stephen Wicks, whatever the guy's name is from like the Amazon version of Tick.
Serafinowicz?
Yeah.
Yeah.
the fucking dude I learned about from Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright and Frost and all them.
Yeah.
But...
Sort your fucking life, mate.
Sort your fucking life, mate. Yeah, like God, I love that dude. I knew him before from Spaced.
Yeah.
He was the hot fucker who stole Tim's girlfriend. Anyway, but like, yeah, like I get that body type a lot for that, but this is just my limited dumb ass mind. Is where I'm like, man, I feel like those were the two though.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know what? I liked Zachary Levi a lot as Shazam, and I would be happy to see him come back, and I'd happy to see him be recast. I'm really good either way.
I'd survive. I'm sure I'd survive.
Yeah, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll be alive.
Yeah. I mean, it could though. It could have been somebody. It could have been like Zac Efron or something. I'd be like, well, as long as you shoot him from like a Orson Welles kind of angle. We'll be right.
Yeah. You know what? It could be Zac Efron. I think. I don't know. He looks kind of weird now.
I thought he was a little bit shorter. Like
I think he might be trying to morph into
how tall is Zac?
What Joe Rogan thinks he looks like.
Well, Joe Rogan is a gnome who thinks he looks like a garden.
Exactly. Joe Rogan thinks he's super hot and like chiseled or some shit, and she is, but. Also gross.
I hate to know as much as I do about his like background history of it. He did very much used to be a different person. These are weird days.
These are weird days.
Those were weird days in context too, but it's a very different situation. I looked up.
Have you seen that clip of him talking to Bill Burr about COVID stuff?
Yeah, and Bill Burr basically like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
He's like, don't do this. Don't ask me this question while you're sitting in front of an American flag smoking a cigar. Don't do that shit to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I didn't know paternally emotionally abused 70s dad style Bill Burr was going to be the guy that's the voice of reason in this day and age. But in some ways, he kind of is.
Yeah. At the very least, he's really funny about it when he's
He is very funny when he's talking about that kind of stuff, at least. I deeply suggest F is for Family. No, Zach Efron is 5'8", is what I just learned.
Okay.
Which does track for me. Feels about right.
All right, so I think we answered that. Like, I would love to see Black Canary and Dr. Light. I'm good with all of them.
Of course.
Brandon?
Bring it on.
I'm good with all of them. He also says, now that we know Blue Beetle will be making a comeback appearance, do you think we'll see him again in a Ted Kord movie? No, I think we'll see him in the Booster Gold show, personally. Mm-hmm. Maybe before that.
I'm good with that.
I wouldn't doubt if it was before that.
Nope. I'm throwing my hat in that ring with you. We'll see.
But I don't see them doing the Booster Gold show without having Blue Beetle in there, whether it be Ted or Jaime or both. Anyway. So, forever ago, this was a question that Gunn answered, but he just recently pointed at it to reemphasize it. Where does the Suicide Squad fit into the new DCU? Gunn says, some things are like a rough memory of what happens in the DCU, but once we hit Superman Legacy, anything can be changed. That's straightforward.
It is. I get how it opens the field up to questions.
Yeah, but just, when you're watching these things, watching Peacemaker, think, oh yeah, I saw this. This is what happened. And then later on, it might be a little different. You go, oh, okay, so it changed a little bit in this universe. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it like, oh, people are like, oh, that doesn't make sense because, it can't happen the same way in certain ways in one universe and then completely different in other ways. No, in every universe, no matter how different, Bruce Wayne's parents get gunned down.
Yeah.
You're already watching this. You've already
Barry's mom
accepted
dies
this.
and his dad is convicted every time. Hal Jordan.
Well, not every time.
Well, I mean, most times.
Sometimes
Hal Jordan's dad
his parents
dies
don't
in a
die
test flight.
forever.
I mean, yeah, true.
But yeah, roughly, a lot of
Their
these
stories.
things are the same. There's a reason nobody wants an origin story for Superman. We know.
I'm looking at one. It's an Alex Ross. It's fantastic. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's the same fucking story over and over again, but it's just extremely well drawn.
Yeah, you just don't. It's like saying, like, oh, Bruce Wayne's parents are killed. That's like saying, before you go into the Sherlock Holmes movie, you got to understand he's a detective.
Yeah. What I need you to know about Frozen before you walk in is that it's animated and that these aren't real people.
I think it's a little different, Jason. I don't think you supplied the same kind of example that I did.
Maybe I was just hurt recently by a Disney experience with a child.
Okay.
And had to explain at Disney that that's not actually the one that we're going to meet right now. But like that's someone, and we can talk about this later and it's going to be okay.
Yeah. Oh, man. So this person asks, a year later, does it look like more projects will enter the chapter? Or did the strikes ensure that would not happen? And James Gunn says, some things have shifted around. Some projects now earlier, others later, and other new projects are being developed. Like I said from the beginning, we are going to put things in production based on when we have a great script and nothing else. And luckily, we've had some great scripts take us by surprise.
Yeah, sounds right.
That sounds great. I'm excited. I want to see more. I want to see what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain things off limits during a strike, but certain other things aren't.
Yeah, well, there's no strikes now anymore.
I mean, I know, but like during that time, you can kind of focus on stuff you can, union-wise focus on and move those up, like you said.
Okay, well, that's it. That's all I've got. Do you have anything else?
Negative.
All right. Well, I do want to thank the patrons. We didn't do that earlier, and we should have possibly. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys like being left to the very end of the line? I don't know. Or does it bug you to have your news preempted by more bullshit?
That's a tough call.
Thank you, patrons.
Write in about such
Thank you so much. Yes, let us know. You can be a part of the community at Patreon, by the way, for free. And you can see all the public posts that we put up. Mm-hmm. And if you want to, throw us a little change, $1 will get you, every episode ad free. And then $5 gets you that plus whatever else we're putting out there. Sometimes it's like comic castaways and it's other stuff from time to time. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I really need to get better at that.
It's honestly just a bunch of stuff that's not interpretable as like DC on screen. That's the kind of stuff that we throw on there.
Right. Like I started Endless Conversation to talk about the Sandman comics. And we did one episode, and Scott and I, it's like Scott had a bunch of bullshit in his life, and I had a bunch of bullshit in mine, where it was more like, oh no, life has to happen for a minute. Mm-hmm. And we just haven't gotten around to doing that. So, I don't know. I'm starting to post stuff in Patreon, like little things, snippets and stuff from the different social medias that I use, because I don't post everything at all places. And but I'm trying to like maybe think if like there's something involving DC, some idea, some whatever, I might post it, and hopefully there'll be something else. But I haven't even talked to Jason about that, so I'm sure as hell not going to tell you yet. But,
fair enough. But
Patreon,
I will promise you right now that whatever he is talking about, we will fucking do from this day forward without a single hiccup.
That's not true. Don't listen to this man. He's a liar.
I may have been overambitious.
He got excited. That's all that really happened. All right. Patreon.com/DC on screen. It really does help us. It, just you supporting the show in any way, whether it be free and community wise and sharing the show, whether it be popping over to Apple and leaving us giving us an old review, letting them know how you really feel about us. And you know what? It doesn't even have to be 5-star. I'll read you on the show. We might make fun of you, but
we still love
or go over to maybe not. Depends what they say.
Oh, you paid attention enough to actually hate us.
What?
That's a kind of love in a way.
Yeah, you know what? Like, I'll see a bad review every once in a while, and I'll think like, that guy can burn in the blue flame. So,
the blue part's the part where you care about it. I got to teach you more about witchcraft.
I am petty and petulant.
Yep.
No, I mean the really hot flame in hell.
I know.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about your hoodoo.
I'm going to do the orange part.
Like, I won't stand by while you slaughter a chicken.
That's when it's like not worth it for you to roast the child's toes. Oh, wait, did you say you didn't want to do that?
No, I don't want to do that.
Never mind.
It sounds physical.
I mean, they're hard to pin down.
Yeah.
Very whiny.
That would make it easier, I think.
To be mad about it? Yes.
Give you that extra gumption to complete the sacrifice.
It's so often me that makes this worse, and yet you manage this time.
How you doing? Until next time, keep some DC on your screen.
Yeah.
God's sake.
Good luck, everyone.
Hey, thanks for listening to DC On Screen. Our theme song is by Jason Goss and Michael Shackelford of Galactic Engineers. The incidental music is by Michael Shackelford and Kevin MacLeod. You can rate the show on Spotify or rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Doing that really helps push our show to new listeners, so your help would be much appreciated. You can also contact the show at DC On Screen on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or email us at dconscreen@gmail.com. To become a patron and get ad-free episodes and exclusive content, go to patreon.com/DCOnScreen. Your reviews and feedback may end up on a future episode of DC On Screen. DC On Screen is a production of Maladjusted.tv in association with Stranded Panda. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever damn platform you use.
Are you